Dear jury, dear guests, my name is Philip from Team 2, and today I'd like to tell you how we're going to revolutionize the art market with Pesto. But before I tell you what it is, I'd like to tell you a number. 11 million. That's the amount of hours spent every year searching for artwork in Europe only. It accounts roughly to 6 billion Czech crowns wasted by art creators, art dealers, interior designers, or anyone else looking for artwork. It's quite a lot, isn't it? Let's put it to example of Paul. Paul is an art creator, and his time is very expensive. Not only because he is an expert in his area and he's paid quite a lot, but also because he should be spending his time evaluating art and telling which one is the best. But instead, he spends countless and countless hours every year, namely 180 hours every year, going through hundreds of gallery websites to, in the end, find only 2 out of 5 relevant artworks that are suitable for his work. And maybe, just maybe, the 3rd, 4th, or 5th artwork would be just the one that's better and the one that's cheaper, but he won't find it. Our solution? This is Paul, going from gallery to gallery, wasting time. That's where we come in. Thanks to AI and web scraping, we're going to gather all of the information from those galleries, measurement, price, image of the artwork itself, author, and put it to one single place, Pesto. What does it lead to? It leads to Paul not having to go through hundreds of websites, but only through one, Pesto. It leads to time save, and it leads to Paul finding 5 out of 5 of the relevant artworks because they're all in one place. And just like that, Paul just saved 162 hours yearly with Pesto. Now, how many Pauls are we talking about? 300,000 art creators, art dealers, or interior designers who are looking for artwork within their job. Going every year through tens of thousands of galleries in Europe only, in a market worth 60 billion Czech crowns. How much of that are we going to get? Let me tell you our steps. Our first step is heavy investment into marketing, employees, and infrastructure to achieve 2 main revenue groups. First are users, who will be paying premium subscriptions for services, people like Paul. And secondly, galleries, because thanks to the increased flow of sales for the galleries, they will be paying us commissions and subscriptions for features like featured listing. And what we're aiming for? 100 million Czech crowns yearly. Now, more in detail, how do we want to get that? Firstly, with 2% commissions per artwork sold through Pesto. This will be paid by galleries, and it's a standard procedure in the market, and it will not influence the final price for the consumers. Also, we will be getting from them subscriptions for featured listing, and lastly, subscription fees from the users using features that I will mention just in a bit. Now, what are the steps to the 100 million Czech crowns? First is becoming the largest artwork database in the market, thanks to our smart approach. Secondly, is acquiring traffic and visitors, not only because we will have all of the artworks available, but also because we will be investing heavily into marketing, PPC, PR, and influencers. And lastly, because we will be offering freemium services to make sure that we will get as many users as possible. And lastly, when we see, and the galleries see, the massive increase of traffic on the gallery websites, we will be just too big for them to be ignored, and they will know they have to make a deal with us. Now, we're not naive, and we know that there are some risks. There are namely 3. The first are partnerships with the galleries themselves, because the art market is quite specific, and it's not easy to go around it to make a partnership with the gallery. But I'm pleased to say that in just 1 week of approaching galleries, we already partnered up with 1 gallery in Prague. And we're in talks with 20 more to go in just 1 week of approaching galleries. The second is copyright, because we're not legally allowed to put the images of the artworks themselves without the concept of galleries. Our current workabout is that we are showing every single information, but the image itself, which is blurred. This will not be the case anymore for this one gallery that we're partnered up with. And lastly, our competition, because we know that we are not the only ones doing it. But there are three main things that separate us from our competition. First is our technical approach, because unlike us, our competition is doing everything manually. They're approaching the galleries and they're getting the information from them manually, asking them for the partnership, then asking them if they can send them the information. That reduces the possibility of how much artwork they can have on their website. Not scraping it like us. Second is the focus on not only big galleries, but also on the small one and on the granularity of the market itself. Because unlike them, we're not aiming just for the biggest galleries in London, we're aiming for them all. From the biggest one in London to the medium sized in Prague, all the way to the smallest one in České Budějovice. And if you look at our competitors, for example, Artsy, which is the largest one in the world, they have roughly 2 million artworks available. 80% of those are in the US only, with vast majority in New York, showing almost zero focus on the European market. We will be strictly focusing first on the European market, aiming to get every single small gallery that's there. And lastly are our features. Right now, there does not exist an intelligent searching in the market. If you search for a pink painting, you get a red one because it's similar. Thanks to deep learning and AI, we will not make sure that doesn't happen with us. We will be also showing investment scoring so that our users can see if, for example, some of the artists could become the next Banksy. And that's Pesto. We would like to ask for an investment of 14 million Czech crowns. And if you'd like to, you can experience Pesto for yourself through this QR code. Thank you a lot.
So thank you for your presentation, and you can enjoy your role of the investors.
You mentioned that some of the income will came from when I buy the artwork from your page. And what will make me to buy the artwork from your page, not go to the gallery and buy directly from there?
It's a great question. I think a pretty similar example would be with Booking. You go to Booking, you find a hostel, and you don't go to the website of the hostel. You just book it through the Booking. Same case here.
Thank you.
Can I follow up on that? Because Booking gives you some advantages why you stick with Booking. So you have the profile, the transaction is covered, you have your deals. So that's for me the advantage of Booking. How does it translate to Pesto, the advantages?
Yeah, actually, I just realized that I forgot to mention on that. So the advantages is, for example, mood boards that we will be providing. The users will have their own profile. They will have mood board of all the images or paintings or artwork they have bought. It will also then recommend similar artworks that they have. They will also be able to group them and so on. And then they will have the additional features that will be, for example, investment scoring. That will be also giving them further information about which paintings are, for example, more suitable to invest in or to buy in, and maybe giving them some notifications as well.
Okay, so I have one more question. And this idea seems to be thoroughly validated from the perspective of the gallery and so on, so from the one side of the market. But I'm curious if you actually tested it with some of the buyers, if you've done some research with the buyers, and what was their feedback? If they're not maybe lacking some of the interaction, I would expect they appreciate in the art world.
So per studies done by Deloitte, for example, from I think it was 2023, the same thing is already used by some of the art creators, art dealers, interior designers. They're on average using 2 to 5 similar pestos, let's say, or our competition. But they're using 2 to 5 and not just one, because their competition does not gather all of the paintings into one place. So they are used to working with this. Currently, I think, if you maybe remember it better, but some 40% of all artworks are sold online. Yeah, in the entire world, with the remaining 60 offline in some venues, galleries, and so on. But 40% are online, and it's increasing every year, especially during COVID. And this will only keep on increasing, as we've seen.
Okay, I have many questions, but first one, did you analyze your audience? Like how large is your target audience, etc.? Because, for example, in booking, that's quite big audience, but with artwork,
Sorry, can you repeat the first part of it?
yeah, if you analyze your audience for your product, if you know your audience, who is it, how large is it?
Yeah, it's the 300,000, or our customer base is 300,000 possible people that are working as art curators, art dealers, or interior designers. So people looking for art extensively for their work, plus people who are, for example, trying to invest into art, hence the investment scoring feature that we have.
Okay, and we are speaking only about Czech Republic, or
No, entire Europe. This entire thing is for Europe.
so 3,000 only for Europe.
Oh no, sorry, 300,000.
300,000. Okay. And my other question is, galleries are not paying anything on the beginning, but then they will give up 2% of the transaction to you. That's my understanding. So now it's quite easy to get a contract with them because they are not paying anything. For them, there's no, yeah, am I right?
Yeah, they only get the benefit of being on our website and getting additional, basically, marketing and traffic increase. And in the end, they only need to pay 2% commission, which is completely standard in this business, and everyone that does something like us charges it as well.
Okay, and my last question is, you mentioned there are like 14 million amount you need from us, but you didn't specify for exactly because that's a huge amount.
Yeah, never mind. We will give you just in a bit an investment brochure that we will show you exactly on what we want to invest those 14 millions. In nutshell, it's mostly on marketing and then partially also on employees and infrastructure and operational costs.
Okay, so you are asking for 40 millions. When do you expect it to have it back? And what audience do you need for it?
By audience, you mean what kind of investors or?
Oh, sorry, users. How many users you need to give us about, I don't know, 40 million back in 2 to 5 years?
Yeah, so our entire plan is to be able to end up with a 1 billion Czech crown valuation in roughly 7 years. However, all of the figures, the 100 million Czech crowns that we're aiming to get, works with 2.7% market capture only. So what I think there is a timeline of when you're getting the balance of revenues and outcomes. Somewhere is a timeline. So I think if I remember correctly, it should be by year 2 that we're profitable in some 20 million, I think. Math is hard.
Okay.
Thank you for your presentation and for your questions.
Thank you.